Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Clock, coming to you tonight for another little live demo. And this time I'm going back to the annual catalog and I'm going to use Nature's Prints and the Sun Prints Designer Series paper. This really caught my eye when I first looked at it because I loved the blues of the Sun Prints paper. And I really haven't had a chance to play with it that much, so I figured I'd take it out tonight, dust it off, and we're going to do 2 cards with this set. So before we go, we're going to do, again, 2 cards, a simple stamping card and something that's a little bit more intricate for some of you who might be a little bit more advanced. But I did want to take time for a little commercial announcement. My October workshop registration is now open. You can find it on the events section on my Stampin' with Crafty Clock Facebook page. And we're going to be using the Soft Seedlings stamp set and the Leaf 3D. It's the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder. And these are just some of the designs we're going to make. So I hope that you like these. I hope you'll consider signing up. And it will be a fun time. You don't want to miss out because we always have a good time in our workshops. And you'll make a total of 8 cards to each of the 4 designs. So again, that registration is open. It is on my Stampin' with Crafty Clock Facebook page in the events section. I can do it virtually where we get together via Zoom, or if you are local to the area, you can come on Saturday morning to my in-person. Hey, Lori from Minnesota, how are you today? How's your weather there? We've been actually pretty nice here today in Virginia. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're going to do a simple stamping card. And all we're going to do is we're going to use really our designer series paper is really going to carry this card, but we're just going to add a little bit of color with a blending brush to some of our paper. We're going to use our cloud punch, and I turned it upside down to make it fit the sentiment, but you know, clouds can go any which way, so that's fine. And then we're going to step it up and we're going to do some embossing with our leaf the Fern 3D embossing folder. We're going to do some die cuts, and we're just going to go ahead and step it up just a little bit. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I have here a base of Sahara sand. It's 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. I have a piece of basic white for the inside that is 4 by 5 1/4. I have 3 pieces of our designer series paper. This one is 4 by 5 1/4, and you can use either side. I'm going to use this side for this card. I have another piece that's just 4 by 3, and again, you can use either side, but I'm going to use this side because I want to color it. And this was just some leftover, like it was a scrap. So I thought, well, I could use that and put it on the inside, and we're also going to just color it the same as we do for our outside piece to add just a little bit of shading to that piece of paper. And then we've got our cloud that we're going to stamp our sentiment on. So let's go ahead and get ready with our stamping and blending brush. So I'm using Starry Sky. I'm going to stamp our sentiment in Starry Sky. And like I said, I'm just stamping a heartfelt thank you. And again, because of the way that Y is, I turned my cloud, what some would consider upside down. And I'm just going to stamp my sentiment right on there. Okay. Oh, and I also have a piece of the Starry Sky ribbon. We're going to use that for a little bit of embellishment. All right, we're going to put this off to the side now. Now we're going to take our blending brush and we're going to take these 2 pieces of the designer series paper and we're going to add a little bit of color about maybe 2/3 of the way up. Okay, so I don't want to have it very, very dark. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to kind of get it to go a little bit off. And then I'm going to come in on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. I want it a little bit darker on the bottom. I'm going to do over here too. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of brush it off to the side to get some of that ink off. And then I'm just going to continue kind of on up and a little bit more. Again, always start off your paper. You don't want to get a big clump on your paper. All right, we're going to add a little bit more to our inside strip. Okay, and I'm not pressing very hard because I want this to be sort of light. So I'm just going to do not a very hard press. Okay, and that's it. Like whenever you think you have enough color on there, then you're done. It's up to you. It's however you want to do it. But we've kind of created a little ombre effect there because it's darker towards the bottom and it gets lighter as we go up. All right, now we're ready to assemble this card. I'm going to make sure I don't have any ink on my fingers. And now I'm going to take this little skinny strip. This is a 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And we're just going to add some Stampin' Seal to that. This is the Stampin' Seal Plus. That is my favorite adhesive. I don't always like it. You're having a fabulous day. Good. Oh, good. Did you have fun making cards? What kind of cards did you make? Are you working on any holidays or just kind of general cards? I need to make a few get well cards. I got to work on that this weekend. All right. I have my workshop tomorrow. My September workshop is tomorrow night for the virtual. Then I have the in-person one on Saturday. But then after that, I'll be making some get well cards. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. And again, I always like to add the white piece. I just think it finishes the inside of the card and just gives it like a polished look. I just think it looks good. So again, you don't have to do this. This is just something that I like to do. So it's up to you. All right. So now we're just going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and put this right on the front. And I know the colors in the paper were Gray Granite, Night of Navy, Starry Sky, and Pacific Point. But I really thought that the Sahara Sand just worked. So I went ahead with that. So, but again, you know, it's your cards. You can do whatever you like, whatever color combos you like. And then I'm just going to I can't even pick this up. I'm going to put this on a little bit of an angle. Okay, just to kind of give it something a little bit different. I'm going to just lay down some adhesive kind of in the middle. If I can get it to come out. It doesn't want to come out. Okay, just a little bit. And now I'm going to layer my ribbon over that. So I'm going to kind of do like a zigzag pattern. Okay. We just want to give it like a little back and forth. So we're creating a little bit of a Z. Okay, now I might have cut a little bit too much, so we'll trim that excess off. Okay, that's not my great scissors. And then I'm going to come and I'm going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and we're going to add some Stampin' Dimensionals to our sentiment. And we're just going to pop that up. And our simple stamping card will be done. So like I said, this one was easy because we really let the designer series paper carry the card. We have just a little bit of stamping. We did use a punch, but that's okay. I think a beginner can use a punch. They may not have all the other accessories, but we just add a little bit of color with our blending brush. And again, that's optional. You don't have to do that. And if you want to use up some scraps, go ahead and put a little scrap of your designer series paper on the inside to kind of jazz that up too. All right, that's our first card. Like I said, this one was going to be easy. I love easy, simple cards, but they look pretty. And that's why I love our designer series paper, because it's so gorgeous that it really can carry the whole card. All right, we're going to come in here. We're going to work on our second card. So again, I have a piece. I went with Night of Navy on this one. Again, this is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. I scored it at 4 1/4. Again, I have a piece of our Whisper White. I'm sorry, Basic White. That is 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to put that on the inside. I have a piece of designer series paper that is 4 1/4 by 5. So it's going to go side to side on the width, but it's going to be a little bit shorter on the height. Then I've got a piece of Gray Granite that was 2. It's not quite 2 because this was a scrap. It's probably like maybe 1 3/4. And this, I rolled this through, and so it's 1 3/4, 2-ish by 4 1/4. And I went through the Fern 3D embossing folder with this, and we got that all embossed. I did a die cut for our label, and this is part of the matching dies that come with the Sunprint set. So we have that one there. And then I've used a couple of these little like accessory dies. They don't really match any of our stamped images, but I use them. But before I cut them, I backed them with our adhesive sheets, because when they're little like this, it's so much easier to use adhesive sheets than to try to use the glue. At least I find I make a mess with the glue. So I like using adhesive sheets for these intricate die cuts. Okay, and then we're going to stamp a flower and we're going to die cut it, but to save time, I just already die cut it, but we'll stamp another one. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. For this, we're going to use our gray granite and our Night of Navy. So I have our gray granite here, and I'm going to stamp on the piece of white for the inside. I'm going to stamp one of these flowers, just kind of in the lower left corner. Again, you don't have to do this. You can put it wherever you want. And then I'm going to stamp another one that we're going to cut out with our die. All right. And then we're going to come in with our Night of Navy, and we're going to stamp our sentiment. And I think we're going to say best wishes and happy thoughts. So let's get that on there. And again, I just went with the Night of Navy to match our cardstock. I could have gone with the gray granite too. That would have been fine. I just chose to use the Night of Navy. All right, so then what we would do normally, but my workshop is such a mess and I have to sort of get it cleaned up for Saturday. So in the interest of not making it more of a mess, I would take the matching die and I would lay it down over it. And you can tell you can match all around the outer edge of the flower. And there's a little tiny hole down here where you can see the bottom edge of the stem. That's how you know it's all lined up perfectly. And then we would just roll that through our stamp cut and emboss machine, and we would end up with our little die cut flower. Then we would also use, there are 3 of these dies and 2 of these accent dies. So I ran these through. I used these with fresh freesia, and I used this with the Starry Sky to kind of accent our card. I wanted just a little pop of color, and I thought it's not fresh freesia, it's pale papaya. I don't know why I keep saying fresh freesia. It's the orange one. It's pale papaya. All right, let's go ahead and start getting our card assembled. So I'm going to add our piece to the inside. This is a little curved, this piece. I don't know what happened to it. It's okay. Once we stick it down, it'll be fine. All right, there we go. We got that one in. Now we're going to come here. Now remember, this piece is going to go edge to edge, left to right. We're going to have a little gap about about a 1/4 of an inch at the top and bottom, because this was 4 1/4 by 5. So we're just going to let a little bit of our card base peek through the top and bottom of this. Okay, and again, I'm just going to eyeball this. I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and hope that I get it straight, which is always, all right, that's not too bad. Then we're going to take our piece of gray granite that we've embossed with the Fern 3D embossing folder, and we're just going to kind of put that in the middle. So sometimes you might have to use liquid glue for these embossed pieces. Sometimes the snail is a little persnickety on these embossed pieces and they start to tear. So if you have liquid glue, you may want to just use the liquid glue. And again, this was 4 1/4, so it's going to go edge to edge. And I wanted to cut it at 2, but because this is a scrap piece, it's a little bit shorter than 2, but try to go for 2. All right, then we've got all of these great little accent pieces. So we're going to take these and we're going to take our backing and we're just going to put these right on top of our gray granite piece. And I don't know where I had my pick tool. Here it is. Like, I know I had it. So we're just going to take these and see, some of these are going to be easy to get off because there was a break in the adhesive sheet. Just be careful. You don't want to rip your flower, whatever this is. Okay. But this is, I just love these adhesive sheets for these small detailed pieces. It just makes life so much easier. Okay. Now pick that up. All right, I'm going to put this here and I'm going to put it kind of close to the top because I'm going to keep checking. We're going to cover those bottoms with our label. So as long as we get a little bit of that bottom covered, we're good. So I'm going to come in here. Now I'm going to go for this, one of these long blue pieces. We're going to take off this. This hopefully will come off pretty easy. There we go. Let's not get it stuck to our work surface. Okay, I'm going to put that one there. And then we're going to come in with one more orange for the top. Okay, I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm just taking off the covering on these, on this adhesive sheet. This is probably the hardest part of the whole card, is taking off that adhesive covering. But like I said, when you're working with these detailed pieces, the adhesive sheets are the way to go. It just makes, it's going to make your life so much easier. You're not going to get frustrated with the glue getting everywhere and all over your fingers and your work desk. Okay, we'll put that there. Now we want to add our flower. We're going to add our flower kind of like right there. So I'm going to put just a little adhesive on this part because the stem is going to be covered by our sentiment label. So we don't really need to have that out so much. I guess there. Let me make sure. That will be good. Okay, so now we want to add these other ones. We're going to add these, excuse me, along the bottom. So we've got two more. I'm going to put one more pale papaya along the bottom and one more starry sky along the bottom. And there's only a seam in here because I had to like piece together these sheets because I would have using, again, I was using my scraps. Use your scraps. Don't get rid of scraps of adhesive sheets. They're still good. You just have to piece them together. All right, I'm just going to put that, make sure I can get this off my finger. Put that there. And let's come in with this one. And then we're almost good to go. Okay, got these off. Let's get this piece off. There we go. Come on. I think, did I get it? I think I got it. There we go. Okay. All right. Now we're going to put this one here. And again, there's no rhyme or reason to how I'm placing it. I just want to place it somewhere where I think it'll look nice. And then we're going to go ahead and pop this up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I love using Stampin' Dimensionals. I don't think you can ever have too many Stampin' Dimensionals. And then I'll put 4 on there just because I want to make sure I can hold all those stems and whatnot down. Oops, let's get that out of our card. We don't want that there. And then we're just going to kind of center this here. And you see how nicely that covers up all of those stem bottoms. We're done. Okay, and there we go. And we have our second card done. So those are our 2 cards tonight. This did not take a long time. They were easy, but when you have beautiful designer series paper, it's so easy to just kind of let that do the heavy lifting for your card and just keep it simple, but you can still keep it elegant. All right, that's it. Thank you, Lori. She has the Fond of Autumn Bumble, beautiful set. Oh, good. You made 3 cards each. Very nice. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back Sunday night at 7 o'clock on my Crafty Clock YouTube channel for Sunday Secret Stamping. I will post the first clue tomorrow on my Stampin' with Crafty Clock Facebook page, and it will also be emailed out to all of my email subscribers. If you are not on my email, you can go to stampinwithcraftyclock.com and click sign up. And when you sign up, I'll send you my guide for sending birthday cards on time. Thank you, Lori. I like to keep them quick, but simple and elegant. I don't think we need to spend hours and hours creating cards. None of us have that kind of time. I think we're all really busy. We all have other things we want to do, but yet we like to find time to create. I think creating kind of feeds the soul. And it's just good mentally, physically, emotionally. I think it's good to create something you feel good and proud, but I want to keep it quick, easy, and beautiful. All right. That's it, everybody. Have a great evening. Enjoy your weekend. See you Sunday night for Sunday Secret Stamping. Bye now.